Welcome to the Well, a sacred place for Christian women who are tired of pouring out everything and are ready to be filled again. Here we lay down the things that are emptying us, things like striving, stress, comparison, and we draw from living water that only Jesus can give. I'm your host, Colleen, founder of SustainaWell, and I welcome you to come to the Well, where you are most welcome here. You are not alone, and we want to fill you up. Take a deep breath, grab your beverage of choice, and come along with me on this journey. Today, we are going to be looking at 2025 and really taking ownership and inventory of how 2025 went. So I want to look at January through March. What did you focus on and what are things that worked? So between January to March, it was my transformation period. I was working on discipling women through renewal. I was on the renewal team and I was actually the lead disciple for that renewal. And I was always looking to ask God for my patience, perseverance, and asking him, where does he want me in that particular season? So I realized that in my call to spirituality and transformation, I realized that coming to the well was always something that I wanted to create, but yet I was too afraid and nervous to do it. The name of my company was SustainaWell, sustainability and wellness. And I was always trying to invite women to come to a place to get healthier. But yet I find that I wasn't clear on what I wanted my health to look like as well. I thought everybody wanted to be healthy, and that's not necessarily the case. So what God was pruning me with is he was having me look at, why did my health matter? Why did I even start SustainaWell over 15 years ago? And the reason I started it, I want you to listen to my heart, is because I was tired of dieting and going on to every plan. Now, I don't know if you're like me, ladies, but I want you to hear this. Every January, I would recommit to losing weight and getting healthier. But what I didn't do is I didn't look back on what was happening the year before. What went well? What was God showing me? What was I patiently doing, or what was he patiently nudging me to do? How do we come to the well, and how do we become well? And what does being well mean? Does well meaning a better relationship with the people around us, a better relationship with God, a better relationship with work, a better relationship with myself? And I realized that there's so many distractions. I get so focused from January to March and say, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to join a Bible study, I'm going to try to really transform my heart. But along the same vein, things just always didn't work out. Usually January through March is a great focus period. It's a time where you can really sit down and shape and transform your life for that period. And for so many years, I was desperate to be a certain size, and that might be you. And I don't even know why I strive to be a certain weight, because maybe I was never there. Maybe it's something that I thought I could get to. But what I've learned over the course of the last 8 years is, in order to be well, we have to sit at the feet of the well and invite Jesus in. So I want you to walk with me, and I want you to imagine yourself walking into a room. You walk into a room, and it could be a classroom, it could be a dining room, it could be a room in your own house where you feel safe, or maybe you feel a little anxious. I want you to observe everything that's around you, and I want you to imagine who's in that room. How old are you? what's going on. And I want you to look in the distance of that room, and I want you to find the gaze of a young man who's looking at you with just the eyes of desire and emotion. And he's telling you that everything's going to be okay. He says, follow me. I know your heart, and I know where you're hurting. And I know that last year wasn't where you wanted it to be, but just take a step. Take a step in faith. Take a step in your behavior. Take a step with me, and I will transform your heart. Now, I want you to write down, how did that feel? What was going on in the room? Oftentimes when I'm in that room, it's usually a room when I'm in middle school and I'm feeling awkward and there's so much noise and confusion of wanting to dance and people talking and people wanting you to get a beverage, a soda, people saying, hey, let's go do this, let's go do that. And I'm missing the reason that I'm there. And that could be some of the things that you've been missing over the course of last year in 2025. I invite you to really take a quick inventory of what success looked like to you in 2025. Grab those calendars and let's actually dive into what was going on in January. Let's look at the desires of your heart. Maybe your desire is to get a new job. Maybe your desire is to transform your shape. Whatever it is, let's look at different quadrants and let's rate yourself, ladies. I don't know if you've ever done this, but I always do kind of the circle of life or the wheel of my own reality every December. And it's been something that I've actually seen, and I've actually seen growth. So what we want to look at is your family. What is it that you want from your family life? Do you want a home where God is present? Do you want a home where there's joy and unity and people listen and help you in that family life? And then write what you don't want and then rate yourself. Now, ladies, let's move on to self-image. What do you want your self-image to look like? Do you want to be kind and generous? Do you want to be someone that is present when people come to you and ask? Do you want to be a thought leader? Do you want to be someone at the church that people look up to? What don't you want? What don't you want in your self-image? Maybe you don't want that extra 5 or 10 pounds. Maybe you don't want the inconsistency that's been happening with your life. Maybe you don't want those people to take advantage of you. Maybe you don't want to always feel shame and guilt, and number that on a scale of 1 to 10 for both of those. Where are you at? Then we're going to move on to health. Rate your health right now from a scale of 1 to 10. Are you at a 4? Maybe your blood pressure's up. Maybe you haven't been drinking water. Maybe you're just exhausted and tired. Maybe your joints ache. Maybe you're diagnosed with an illness. Maybe you have some desires that are unrealistic. But what do you want? I want to be strong. I want to be firm. I want to be energetic. I want to keep up with my grandkids. What do you want? Now let's move on, ladies, to friendships. What do you want in a friendship? Do you want quality time? Do you want reciprocation in conversations? Do you want people to sit down with you for a cup of coffee and not just take you for granted? What don't you want? The drama, the anxiety, the people always asking you to give more than you have in your cup? And then rate yourself. Let's work on into intimacy. What don't you want? You don't want maybe people to look at you. You don't want to feel small. Maybe you don't want to be looked at in contempt. You know what you don't want. What do you want? You want to feel known, loved, and find quality. You want to be seen. You want to be held and know that it's going to be okay. When we think about contribution, what kind of contribution do you want in your life? Do you want to be freely give to things that are important to you? Do you want to have enough money to do the things that make you happy and to provide for those that have less? What don't you want? Maybe you don't want to scrimp and save all the time. Maybe you don't want to live a frugal life. Maybe you don't want to have to fold the napkins over and over again or rewash the dishes. Rate yourself, ladies, on that. Let's now move into environment. This is key. The environment is a space where you are surrounded with people that you know, like, and trust, that you love, that are authentic. Environment is kind of the base of where we sit. If we are living in a negative environment, or we're living in an environment that's full of drama, hassle, expectation, then that causes anxiety, ladies, to our central nervous system. So we want to look at an environment that keeps us positive, that motivates us, that inspires us. Maybe that's in your church, maybe it's not, maybe it's time to move to a different environment. When you're thinking about your environment, what is it that you want? I want to be present, to be open in my home. I want my environment to be filled with positive, energetic people who see me. Things that you don't want is you don't want to be full of clutter in your environment. You don't want negative Nellies. You don't want people that compare. You don't want people that cause guilt and shame in your environment. Now we don't want to look at our wealth. This is the last piece. When we look at our wealth, what do we want as far as the money and dollars? What don't we want? Maybe we don't want to feel used. Maybe we don't want to waste our dollars. Maybe you don't want to be manipulated to how you spend your funds. What you do want is maybe you want freedom to give to those causes that you like. Maybe you want to be able to make enough because money gives you options. So where is it? Now look on the wheel of the numbers and connect those dots and see what kind of wheel you are. When I did this probably 8 years ago, I was kind of like a Flintstone mobile. Very rocky, unsteady. And maybe that's where you are today. But we're looking for a great transformation in 2026. We're looking for vitality. And ladies, if we don't know where we are, we can't grow. We can't move. So I invite you to really journey with me at the well in 2026. I invite you to really look at where you want to be transformed and where is God transforming you. In March of 2025, I created a God body blueprint. And this was basically what God had on my heart. He said, Colleen, stop teaching people to diet and calorie count and macro count. Teach them to come to me and ask for help. Teach them what I taught you. And what he taught me and what I realized when I sat and I really asked myself, why did you bring SustainaWell into my heart? And what were you asking me to share with the ladies? He wanted me to share sustainability and wellness. And he wanted me to help women get well, not just at their size, but a deep well, to come to that well and ask him for guidance and perseverance. You know, there were so many things that were weighing on my heart when I was 50 pounds overweight. I was in comparison, confusion, and I thought that people would love me more if I weighed a certain number. But what I learned over the course of the last 12 to 15 years is people are going to treat you the way they treat you no matter what. But God is always there to open you. He's the one that looks at you across the room, catches your eye, and says, you're beautiful. I created you for so much more. You don't need the plan, the pill, the potion. I have everything that you need. So come to me. So that's why I started Come to the Well. I invite women to come to the well with vulnerable conversations from topics about their environment, from cancer scares to opening a business, to weight struggles, because it's when I journal and I ask the correct questions as to, God, do you really want me to be doing this right now? Is it a season for me to exercise and pay attention to my body? Is it a season where I need to be present for my family, for my extended family, for my adult children, or even maybe my parents? Just because you're 25 pounds overweight right now, or you're not happy with the energy level, I invite you to reach out and message me, and we can have a conversation to dive into a little bit more of what's really on your heart. And what is God asking you to do today? And it might not be investing in that plan or that program. It might be in taking time to invest to Him. And I would love to just have that conversation with you. I would love for us to work together for a couple of months to probe and identify what areas of your health that needs to be transformed. The God Body Blueprint is created by SustainaWell, Colleen, your coach, but with God's desires of your heart, using scripture, using your each individual ability, and not some cookie cutter plan or program. It's divinely intervene with God and you in mind. And it's individualistic. It's something that I've really worked on, and I work on it with myself every year. And what I realized in 2025 is I have the gifts and the tools to bring each and every woman to the well of their life, where they want to transform not only their health, but their mind and their spirit. There's an ache to want more in life. And I see it every day. I see it from women who are caregivers, who are young moms, who are teachers, who are just not happy with what's going on in today's society. And we need to come together as a community, as women at the well, women of the Bible, and women who are strong. And God is asking us, ladies, to come together, to fight for our humanity, to fight for our womanhood. And I ask that you just come and listen. Come to each of the podcasts weekly and maybe learn. And if you find that somewhere down the road that you want to work together, talk together, lock arms together, whatever it is, I want you to hear me and listen. It might not be early on in 2026 that you want to connect, but it might be later. Wherever you are on this journey, I pray that God has a mission for you in mind, and that you listen each week to this podcast. You like it and share it with others. And I would love to invite you to come and learn more about the God Body Method. It's a blueprint that's designed just by you, created by God, with me as your facilitator, to help you break that cycle of obsession, abuse, and conflict that, ladies, we've all been on, that roller coaster up and down, that wanting more. I hope you hear my heart. I hope you continue to listen to this podcast. And I hope you take an inventory in the next couple days and sit with Jesus and rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in all the areas of your life. And then focus on one area. And I'd love to know what area you want to focus on and how we can come together to work on that area and to evaluate it each month, each week, wherever you want. Thank you, ladies, for coming to the well today. I hope you share this with another woman. I hope your 2025, you look at and you say, wow, I did a lot. And God is proud of me, and I'm continuing to move on the journey with Him. Thanks, ladies, for coming to the well. Until 2026, till our next time together, be well, and thanks for coming to the well with me today.